Hey everyone, Paul Stankista here, candidate for Pennsylvania State Senate. I'm back in the Lower Hill today, walking on ground that used to be a vibrant community, but is now a giant parking lot. In the 1950s and 60s, the city of Pittsburgh razed the Lower Hill, demolishing hundreds of homes and businesses to make way for the Civic Arena. In all, over 8,000 residents were displaced, and 80 city blocks demolished. It was a disgusting and shameful act for which our region's leaders have never atoned. Fast forward to 2007, and the arena, since renamed the Mellon Arena, is old and falling apart, and the Pittsburgh Penguins are threatening to relocate to a different city unless a new arena is built. Our state leaders were desperate for them to stay, so they agreed not only to build a new arena at taxpayer expense, but they also gave the Penguins exclusive rights to own and redevelop all of this property. Each parcel of this land, jointly owned by the Sports and Exhibition Authority and the Urban Redevelopment Authority, was to be transferred to the Penguins for free as soon as the hockey team had a plan for redevelopment. At the time, they promised that this redevelopment would benefit the community through affordable housing and locally owned business. Fast forward another 18 years to last October, when the Penguins' rights to this land expired. And what did they have to show for 2 decades of exclusive redevelopment rights? An office building owned by First National Bank and a small concert venue. Not a single locally owned business and not a single affordable housing unit.
To put this in perspective, there were more option agreements signed between our leaders and the Penguins over those 2 decades than there were buildings constructed. In 2007, they signed a short-form option agreement. In 2014, a comprehensive option agreement. And in 2018, an amended and restated comprehensive option agreement.
Now at this point, I feel compelled to say that the Pittsburgh Penguins are losers and quitters. But that being said, they are a hockey team. Their job is to play hockey and sell hot dogs while people watch them play hockey. They are not real estate developers, let alone responsible real estate developers, and they are certainly not committed to this community. The fact is, our state and local officials failed us. Ultimately, it's up to our elected leaders, not a private corporation or hockey team, to advocate for our interests and deliver what we need and deserve. And our leaders failed us through 2 decades of inattention and inaction. At no point in time did they negotiate any requirement for the Penguins to redevelop this land, let alone any particular type of redevelopment that would provide tangible benefits to the community. None of the agreements that our leaders signed in 2007, 2014, or 2018 included any requirement. It was all left up to the Pittsburgh Penguins to engage in real estate speculation for pure profit. And now it is 2026, and we are back to square one. And square one is a bleak, paved parking lot. I should point out that if you live in the Lower Hill, it was your current state senator and chairman of the board of the Sports and Exhibition Authority, Senator Wayne Fontana, who struck this deal way back in 2007, and then stood by for 2 decades while nothing was done. With all due respect to the senator, that is not what leadership looks like. I believe that the entirety of the Lower Hill must be returned to the people for affordable housing, locally owned business, and any other use they see fit. I don't personally live in the Lower Hill, so I won't presume to speak for them on what this development looks like.
In terms of financing the redevelopment, a good start would be expanding the tax diversion that leveraged future property tax revenue to fund the 2 buildings that were built. The Hill Community Development Corporation was able to negotiate for half of that diversion to go back to the community, as well as $2 for every concert ticket sold at the new concert venue. Now, this was truly an incredible accomplishment, but it won't be enough to fund the redevelopment of the rest of the parcels. Now, this tax diversion only applies to property taxes, which go to the city, county, and school district. And you'll notice that the state is much better at spending other people's money than their own. The state could do much more by enabling the diversion of state taxes as well, such as sales tax, payroll tax, and corporate income tax. Even better, instead of simply enabling developers to borrow against future tax revenue, the state could itself provide loans directly for development. Pennsylvania is able to borrow money at much more favorable rates than private developers by issuing municipal bonds. The state could even pay the modest interest on these bonds, making the loans interest-free for developers, a small price to pay for decades of injustice. Our state leaders owe a terrible debt to the people of the Hill District, and that debt must be paid.